If you're a global player, do you skip the upcoming Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 banner? Or do you summon? How many multis do you do? What's coming next for global, and will that information deter you or actually encourage you to summon? There's quite a bit to talk about in this video. I'm going to go through absolutely everything, so at the end of this, I'm confident that you will arrive to your conclusion. And just keep in mind that I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just laying down all the facts and everything that you should consider before you go ahead and spend your stones, because I'm telling you, the rest of this year is stacked for banners and all that good stuff. And if you're free to play or you can barely spend money, this is super important for you, which I feel like is honestly a majority of the players in Dokkan. So the first thing I want to do is actually focus on the rest of the banner first, get that out of the way, because a majority of what I want to speak about is regarding Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. So honestly and objectively speaking, I feel like the majority of this banner, outside of the Gammas, or, you know, not including the Gammas, not really that bad of a list of characters. And I don't think they're going to change this list for global, because it feels like these two Android units here are literally here just because of the Android theme, I think. And then Gohan and Piccolo, I think, are here because of the superhero theme. So I don't really see them changing this, especially when you consider that Ginyu has already returned on global, and the androids are an older unit than Ginyu. So if the androids, or if Ginyu returned, then it makes sense that the androids could also return, and they are obviously the most recent Dokkan Fest on this banner, besides the Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. So I expect the banner by itself to be the same. Back to the list of characters here, like I was saying, the characters aren't really that bad if you're a newer player. However, if you're a more experienced, not experienced, but if you've been playing the game for a while, there's a good chance you probably have all of these featured units here, which means you're probably not going to be as inclined to summon. And remember, this is not a guaranteed featured banner. This is just a regular Dokkan Fest banner, which means you can spend 1,000 stones on this and just not pull anything. So just please keep that in mind, right? But when it comes to the androids here, if you let's just be honest, right? If you're not running the android, if you don't like the android team, or you don't run the android team, or you don't have a good android team to build this unit on, you're just not running this unit. Take Ultimate Gohan is one of the most valuable units of all time. Sure, with the recent red zones, he's slowly getting power crept, but even so, he's still relevant in all the events he's always been relevant in, right? All the long events, you can't touch him. All of the ESPRs and SPRs focus on his categories here. He is so valuable in so many places in this game that he's always going to be one of the MVPs. So he'll always be a W pull, unless of course you already have him rainbowed. So I guess he is technically worth the stones, but you can also buy him with red coins, right? Then we also have Android 13 here, and obviously this guy is super old, right? November of 2019, and since he's so old, I feel like it's unfair to focus on how bad he is rather than his upcoming EZA. So if you're someone who doesn't have this character, I can understand why you'd want him for his upcoming EZA, because his EZA is closer, I think, than his release date, if that makes sense. So like, I think, you know, we're not too far from this. And even same thing with something like maybe Broly here, who's a lot older than Android was Android 13? Yeah, Android 13. I don't know why. Okay, whatever. And even like, you know, maybe even Gogeta too. Like, this guy's EZA is coming up at some point, so focusing on the EZA I think is a little bit more fair than how bad these units are right now. But even then, they're not like anything crazy. Hopefully their EZA gives them justice, but as of right now, nothing really worth your stones. And then Physical Piccolo here in long events literally cannot be touched. I ran him recently with 800k defense, 40% damage reduction. He's still a monster. So he's definitely, I would say, worth the stones. But again, if you don't have a Namekians team, or you don't really run any other character, honestly, right, besides like the hybrids and movie heroes and whatnot, then it doesn't really make much sense for you to, you know, simp over the list of. So again, the list of characters not really that great overall, but they have their value, and EZAs could potentially make these two monsters, or these two units, potentially monsters, right? So again, the list of characters, not too crazy, but there's some stuff to consider there, especially if you don't have some of these units, just again, objectively speaking here. And then we have the Gammas, right? Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. I mean, I agree that Gamma 1 at least is top 2, top 1, top 3 in the game. 600k defense, 50% damage reduction. What more do you really want from a unit? He's absurdly broken. He is a slot 1 unit, as Gamma 1 is, and Gamma 2 is a slot 2 unit, more focused on offense, while Gamma 1 is more focused on defense. The thing I'm trying to come at, or trying to make you understand with what I'm trying to say right now, is these 2 units are not dependent on each other on the rotation, but because they share 6 out of 7 links, and one supports attack while the other supports defense, it's like you want to run them together, which brings you to like a dilemma. It's like, if you summon on this banner, you want to walk away with both of them. That is a slight issue. I'm glad that they don't have like a unit super attack or an active skill that requires another super class androids unit, right, which would make it, I think, a little bit worse. But it's still obvious that they want you to run this man in slot 1 and run this man right alongside him in slot 2. And because of that, you want both units. And because of that, you're going to have to spend more stones. And maybe you don't care about both. Maybe you just want one of the 2, right? But what if you really like Gamma 1 and you get Gamma 2 2 times? Or vice versa, right? It's going to be a struggle to do a multi or 2 and walk away with both of them. Of course, there's, lucky people out there, but let's be honest, I'm not that guy, and you're not that guy either. Let's take it back a little bit, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, that's definitely one con about wanting, or probably needing, not necessarily needing, but again, you want to pull both of them to run them on the same team. They're, of course, very, very powerful, so they're 100% worth your stones. I'm not even going to sit here and say they're not, but their banner isn't really looking too promising. And I did drop a video about a week ago talking about everything that Global will be getting in the rest, basically for the rest of the year. Starting with Vegeta and Trunks, which should be dropping in early November, so maybe 2 weeks from now. Vegeta and Trunks should be arriving on a Global, and then we do have, some random part 2 banner that should drop. I don't think Zamasu will drop because November is such a stacked month. Could he jump in November? Definitely, but last year he didn't. Last year LR Physical Janemba was pushed all the way to January because there's just no time, and that's just going to be the same case this year. Again, if they drop him, cool, but if not, it makes sense, because Heroes, which drops 5-6 units on a new units on a banner, it's just too much in a month. So Heroes will be dropping after that, and then we move into the month of December with a Dokkan Fest, and then a Carnival banner for part 2. I'm not implying that Goku and Hit are coming or anything like that. They're already here. I'm just bringing something up in the video for you to have something to look at, just for you to get the point of what I'm trying to come across, or the point I'm trying to get across, which is Dokkan Fest, and then Carnival banner in December. And then we do have the Tanabata banner, which returns or brings Vegeta and Trunks back, along with the 7-year LRs, which honestly, you shouldn't summon on, because this is the time that you buy the anniversary units with coins, right? With red coins. There's so many featured units on this banner, it's hard to walk away with something. And even if you get like a guaranteed LR animation, there's so many LRs on this banner, right? You have the Gogeta, you have the Vegeta and Trunks, you have the Gobros. So, does it say Vegeta and Trunks? Sorry. Yeah, you have Vegeta and Trunks, that's true. You have the 70th anniversary LRs, you have the Tech Gogeta back there, you have the physical Gobros, and then Tech Goku and, Gohan and Goten. So, a lot of LRs here. It's very unlikely that you're going to pull exactly what you want. Keep that in mind. And then before the new year starts, we do have the Step Up banner right here, which you're going to, where is it? Right here. You're going to want at least minimum 600 stones to complete this. So 600, if you don't have 600 stones right now and you're new to this game, like summoning on this, where you can spend 600 stones and not pull a single thing, it doesn't look as, this is just watch this video. I explain how this works, right? It's guaranteed every single multi, you're guaranteed either an LR or a Dokkan Fest, and that value you can't even compare. There's nothing in the game that compares to the value of the New Year's at the end of the day, or at the end of the year. And if you're free to play, or you barely spend money, this banner is what you focus on. I understand that the Gammas are the newest hype, the newest movie, whatever. It's hype, and it's weird to, not even weird to say. I can understand how it may even sound unfair to say skip the Gammas, because again, the movie is still fresh in everyone's mind. It is the hype right now in at least the Dragon Ball community, and people want the newest shiny characters that have just been introduced. So I get that, right? And I think for that reason, if you really like the Gammas, or you want the newest movie characters, go ahead and summon. They're definitely, you know, the strongest, some of the strongest units in the game easily. They did not hold back with their kids here, so I do appreciate that. But again, if you're new to the game, if you're free to play, or you just can't spend that much money on the game, then this is the banner you focus on, right? You skip, I think, honestly, just everything else, because I'm trying to give you value over the potential of value. Does that make sense? This is guaranteed value versus potential value. You can easily do a multi here, right, and pull both Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 in the first multi. But like I mentioned, I'm not that guy and you're not that guy either. Okay, we're just, that's just not how we're built. You can go 1,000, 2,000 stones and not pull Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Or you go 600 stones and walk away with 6 guaranteed LRs. And what is that? 3, 6, 9 guaranteed Dokkan Fest. And that's just a guaranteed slot. You can pull LRs in every other slot too. I'm telling you, this is just the value that you need to focus on. Again, if you're free to play, if you don't spend money or barely spend money on this game, or again, of course, if what's it called, you're just newer to the game and just need to catch up on some of the units that have been releasing over the course of the last, you know, few months and years and whatnot. I will do a updated video letting you guys know what will be on the list for New Year's this year, so just stay tuned for that. But another fair point I want to bring up too is that I know people want to run the full superhero team, and I pull these characters up just to show you or give you a visual of that, right? So imagine you have a team of Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, but you also have the LR Carnival 200% lead Ultimate Gohan and Ultimate Piccolo. That would be so hype. And then you also have Beast Gohan, right? Maybe on rotation with, you know, Pan, the support, crazy movie hero support Pan. And then you also have Orange Piccolo here. Like, imagine this team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These two can be floaters. Maybe you're rocking Boom and Boom in slot in one rotation and Boom on the other rotation. Like, this is a hype team to run. And if this is your goal, then summoning now could also, it would make sense, right? But again, we don't know that this is going to be it. I mean, this, to me, when we saw Frieza and Goku in Tournament of Power teaming up, we all knew at one point that was going to be an LR, and look, it's an LR in the game, right? This right here spells an LR in some way, shape, or form, or at least a joined forces unit at the very least. It has to be, right? But again, even if it's not, a full superhero team makes sense. That it would be something that's sought after is what I'm trying to say. So if that's the case and you want to start collecting your superhero units right now, go ahead and summon, right? If you love the superhero movie, go ahead and summon. These units are 100% worth it, but there's a lot to keep in mind, a lot to consider. You are not guaranteed anything on this banner, and you knowing what's coming next, you don't sit here and this is just me being honest, okay? I don't want to sound harsh or whatever, but do not complain about you doing 3 multis on Vegeta and Trunks and not pulling them after you dropped 700 on the Gammas and didn't pull them either. Just imagine that scenario. The same way I want you to imagine a full superhero team and how goated that could seem and feel and how hyped it would be. You also have to imagine the bad side. Dropping 700 stones, 800 stones on this banner, not pulling a single thing, or granted, even worse, pulling 4 Piccolos and 5 Brolys, right? And then, when Vegeta and Trunks drop, and you drop 400 stones, which honestly is arguably a worse banner, besides Vegeta and Trunks by themselves, right? But you end up pulling, some garbage off of that banner. Or not even a single featured unit. And then you have no stones. The Heroes collaboration, comes along. And it's like one of the most hype collaborations ever, but you have no stones. It's guaranteed featured, right? But you have no stones now. And then what? You try to save some stones, but then the December Dokkan Fest comes, and you're like, you know what? I didn't save stones anyway, so F it. Let me just do a multi here, and then you just have no stones. Before you know it, it's New Year's, and you have no stones to summon on the New Year stuff, and then you're just down bad for the rest of the year. You want to quit the game. I get how it all feels. I understand it. So if you want to avoid all that, and you want to avoid that feeling, right now, pick one thing you want to focus on and save for that. If you want to only summon on superhero units and skip everything else, then do that. Summon on Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Do what you gotta do, right? Skip everything else, Vegeta and Trunks, New Year's, everything, and focus on your superhero units, right? If you want Vegeta and Trunks, save your stones right now for Vegeta and Trunks. If you want the really crazy value New Year's, that's what you should be saving for right now. There's just too much cram packed in the next few months for you to, again, I'm talking to free to play and players who just can't spend that much money. That's who I'm talking to right now. It's like it's impossible for you to do a lot of multis and all of these banners up. Dokkan is not giving out that many free to play stones, so pick and choose what's dropping. And there's still it's been confirmed that a part 4 of the superhero celebration is coming. By part 4, I mean like part 1 was a free to play Gohan, part 2 was Cell Max, part 3 was Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Part 4 is dropping at some point. That could be Beast Gohan, right? It could be Orange Piccolo, and I think that's dropping before the end of the year too. So a lot to consider here. Pick one thing and focus on that, and don't look back. Don't let anyone tell you what you should do. Do what you want to do, but you have to make that decision right now, because if you don't, it's going to be impossible for you to focus on what you want. And keep in mind that if it's not the New Year's banner, whatever you focus on, you can still get shafted. That's just it's the L about Dokkan, but it is what it is. So do your best, focus on whatever you want to focus on, and don't lose sight of that. But only you can make that choice. I'm just here relaying all the information that you should be considering. So hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace.